So the difference between the phase difference and the part difference. Like this is a common term which we use to compare the two waves. When we are comparing the two waves, we can use these two terms frequently. One is called a phase difference. So when we are comparing the two waves, the common term which we can use in comparison, one is simply known as the phase difference. Another one is known as part difference. What is the meaning of phase difference? Phase difference means when we work out the difference in the angle, like the difference in the angle of the two waves, we call that as a phase difference. But when we work out the difference in the wavelength, then we call that as a path difference. Example, phase difference we already discussed in the last session, but quickly I will go through this. Example, we have a displacement and distance graph. So x-axis, y-axis we have displacement, x-axis we have distance. And there are two waves. One is there in red, another one is there in blue. So these are the two waves. Now what we can do, if we work out the difference in the angle, what we call that as a phase difference. Like example, the two waves red and blue. So how much blue we have to produce backward, how much we have to extend it backward. So quarter of the wave we have to extend it backward, or 1/4. So if we want to extend it 1/4, so what is the angle here? Because we already discussed, if the quarter is there, it will be 90 or pi/2. If half of the wave is there, then it will be 180 or pi. If 3/4 of the wave has to be produced, then the phase difference will be 270 or 3 pi/2. And if one complete wavelength is, or one complete wave is difference, then it will be 360 or 2 pi radian. So because we have to produce a quarter of the wave in this example, so the quarter of the wave, so phase difference will be, so for quarter of the wave, the phase difference will be how much? It will be pi/2, or we can say 90. But what is part difference? Part difference means in terms of angle. In terms of wavelength, not angle. Angle is for phase. Part difference is in terms of wavelength. So example, we have two waves. So this is the first wave. I'm using the same figure. So this is the first wave. And in a blue, we have the second wave. So how much we have to extend this backward? We have to extend quarter of the wave. In terms of wavelength, what is the distance here in terms of wavelength? So quarter of the wavelength, what is the distance? The distance will be λ/4. So the part difference, the phase difference is pi/2, and the part difference is quarter of the wavelength, or λ/4. So how much wave we have to extend in terms of wavelength? We call that as a part difference. And what is the change in the angle for between the two waves? That is refers to phase difference. So there is a relation between the part difference and the phase difference as well. As you can see, like example, the part difference and the phase difference. So what is the relation between the part difference and the phase difference? Example, if the part difference is equals to quarter of the wavelength, then the phase difference will be 90 or pi by 2. If the part difference is lambda by 2, half of the wavelength, the phase difference will be 180 or pi. If the part difference is 3 lambda by 4, then the phase difference will be 270 or 3 pi by 2. And if the part difference is one complete wavelength, then the phase difference will be 360 degrees or it will be 2 pi radian. So this is actually a relation between the phase and the path. So sometime in MCQs they ask both of them, like what is the phase difference and what is the path difference. So we can work out using this simple formula. And the simple formula, simple relation is that lambda is equals to 2 pi radian. Like when lambda is there, 2 pi radian. So any one of the unknown, you can find from the given value, you can find any one of the unknown. Sometimes the wavelength is unknown and sometimes the angle is unknown. Then a ripple tank. What is a ripple tank? A tank which can produce waves or ripples. We call that as a ripple tank. And why we use this ripple tank? Because it is easy to produce the waves in a ripple tank, and water waves are easy to, we can observe these water waves easily in a ripple tank. How it works, like there's an oscillator, this is a vibrator or oscillator, and this a tank is there which is filled with water. So when we disturb or vibrate, oscillator disturb the water surface, so it will produce the waves. So as it produces the wave, these water waves, as it travel, it will produce at the top we have a light source, and this light source will produce light which will pass through the water and create an image. So at the base we'll have a image of this. So as you can see here, this is actually not a ripple tank. This is an image which is seen at the base, like here at the bottom. This is an image which is created by this light source. And why this pattern is there? Because it depends on the vibrating object. If we use a large vibrating object, then it will produce a plane wavefront. But as you can see in the second figure, we are using two metal spheres. They will vibrate. So when they will vibrate, as a result, what they will produce spherical wavefront. So this is why the spherical wavefronts are produced by a small source produce spherical wavefront, whereas large source will produce plane wavefront. As you can see here, the spherical wavefronts are produced, the image is created, and this is the image which is created at the base of this ripple tank. This is another image. As you can see, this might be visible to you, that these spherical objects, as you can see, they're vibrating up and down. As they're vibrating up and down, they're disturbing the water surface, and we only see the image. Like this is the thing what we see. This is what we see as an image. So why we are using a ripple tank? Because the water waves are easy to produce and we can observe them easily. So if we use a large source, it will produce, as you can see here, when we have a large source, so these are also wavefront. But what kind of wavefronts are these? These are the plane wavefronts. But if we use a small source was there, then what kind of wavefront will be produced? It will produce, so this what we see here, these are the crests, and these crests are actually representing the wavefront. Then the properties of the wave reflection. What is the meaning or concept of the reflection? When the wave strike the surface, like this is what we are doing in the ripple tank, the surface of a ripple tank, and this is what the image we see at the bottom. So here we are disturbing, the source is there which is producing a plane wavefront because it is a large source, and this is a reflecting object. So when the wavefront strike, we don't see here any like wave, but the image we can see at the bottom of this tank, you can clearly see when these wavefronts strike. As a result, when they strike, they bounce back or changes the direction. So when they changes the direction, we call this property as reflection. So property of the wave to change the direction when it strikes the surface is simply refers to reflection. Like here, the wavefront strike the surface and they bounce back. So we call this as reflection. And in case of reflection, the angle of incidence will always be equal to angle of reflection. The only thing which changes is the direction. Is it clear? That concept of reflection of the water wave. Why we are using water waves? Because they are easy to produce and observe. Then what is the concept of a refraction? Refraction means when the wave changes the speed, when it travels from one medium to another, we call that as refraction. So as the wave is moving from deep water to shallow water, deep water, it can move faster, but as it enters a shallow water, it slows down. As a result, what we see, we'll see the wavelength decrease, speed also decrease, but the frequency remain unchanged, because frequency is actually a ratio between the speed and the wavelength. So this ratio remain constant. That's why this frequency remain constant. Here V1 and lambda 1 is different from V2 and lambda 2, but the ratio between them is same. That's why the frequency does not change. If the wave is making certain angle, then it will change its direction as well, because the part of the wave is in a deep region and some part of the wave is in a shallow region. So as the wave travel from deep to shallow, it changes the direction as well if it is making certain angle, as the part of the wave is deep and some part is in a shallow. As you can see here, the wave is moving. So this part of the wave is in a deep region and the other part is there in a shallow region. So deep and shallow, deep it is moving faster, shallow it is traveling slower. That causes the change in direction. And the wavelength, the distance between the two successive wavefront will also decrease. Then the diffraction means spreading of the wave around the edges. When the wave passes through a gap, it's spread out and we call that as diffraction. So example, if we have a large gap and the wavelength is smaller, in that case diffraction will occur, but a small amount of wave will diffract. As you can see here, the wave is moving. The gap size is larger. The gap size is larger than the wavelength. Then diffraction will occur, but very small amount of diffraction, only this part, the wave is diffracted. But if we use a narrow gap, when the wavelength is approximately equal to the gap size, in that case, greater proportion of the wave will spread out or maximum diffraction will occur. As you can see here, the gap size is smaller or equal to the wavelength. As a result, what you'll see, the wave will spread out in all the directions. Is it clear, the property of diffraction? So today we started with the concept of the waves, and then we just completed the properties of the wave, which is about reflection, refraction and diffraction. In the next class, we will discuss more properties, and these are the new properties which you will study related to polarization, Doppler effect and diffraction again, but in detail, and how standing wave is formed. Any question or a doubt related to the class today? So I'll end the session and share this with you.